What's up, guys? My name is Zach Black. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to talk about the smoothie, little recipe thing, I guess you could call it, that I mentioned in Weekly Wellness episode 7. And the reason I wanted to go over this is because it's my own kind of recipe. Well, actually, me and my mom made it up together because it was, we were both trying to be healthier, and we just started messing around with different stuff in the blender until we came up with this crazy delicious smoothie recipe. So I wanted to share it with you guys though because it is so good. I mean, it's like the healthiest thing, and it is just so delicious. I mean, it's like my favorite smoothie on the planet. I absolutely love it. But everybody's different. You may not like it as much. But we're just gonna jump right into this recipe. I make this in a big old Vitamix. So I think it's about 10 cups of smoothie. So it's quite a lot of smoothie to have in one container. And normally I make this for myself. I normally drink about half of it myself and then give the other half to my mom and sister, because my sister doesn't really like to drink it. My mom's normally not gonna drink very much either. So for me, that's just how I do it. If you guys want to drink the whole thing, then that's totally fine, and that's probably even better, to be honest. But for budgeting purposes, I only make one a day. Although if I could, I would definitely make this smoothie like all day long because it's just so good. Um, anyway, this starts off with 2 bananas, 1 apple, and 1 cucumber. Now, you just want to chop all this up briefly. Make sure you wash your apple. You don't want none of that waxy nastiness in there. I normally peel the cucumber just out of personal preference. You guys can just wash it if you want, and just chop it up, throw it in your blender, and then add in about 3 to 4 cups of coconut water. If you want a thicker consistency, go towards 3 cups. Anything less than 3 cups I find is normally a bit thicker than most people like. Anything more than 4 is normally watery, so just keep that in mind. If you're in between 3 and 4 though, it's probably going to be that really nice smoothie consistency that most people like. You just want to blend all that up now real quick, and you're going to have this yellow kind of concoction. It doesn't really taste good like that, and it doesn't really have the nutrients you're looking for quite yet. So now you want to whip out the spinach and the kale. Now with the spinach, I don't really measure it, to be honest. I just throw it in there in big handfuls. I throw about 3 handfuls in there. Honestly, the way I gauge if it's enough is just I put it in there and I kind of pack it down lightly. So until you have to like slightly push it down to keep it from kind of just overflowing out of the thing, then you're good. And then with the kale, again, this is kind of like depending on how much I want that day. If the kale's going bad, I'll add in more, obviously. Kind of the same thing with the spinach. It just depends on like how good or bad your stuff is. But you can kind of eyeball it and get a good idea. But with the kale, it's normally about 2 big leaves, like the biggest leaves possible, maybe even 3, just depending on how good it is, like I said. And that you just want to wash, break up in the pieces, that way it doesn't just make your blender take a crap. And then that one you'll actually have to push into the blender quite a bit. It's kind of a pain to get it all in there, but don't worry, it's going to blend up just fine still. The Vitamix is pretty cool. This might not be the case with other blenders though. The Vitamix has this cool lid where if it's you can't really overfill it because the lid acts as kind of an extension to the blender itself. So even if it is filled to the brim, it's still just going to blend up properly in the lid instead. So you're pretty good and not going to overflow a Vitamix. And plus the Vitamix I just prefer because it blends things up into like this really nice thin paste. It's not like you're going to get chunks of kale and spinach and have to chew your smoothie, because that's never fun. But add in your kale and spinach, blend that up now. Now it's going to be this green concoction, and you can drink this just like this. And this might actually be a better idea if you don't care about your smoothie tasting good. It'll save you a lot of money if you don't have to buy berries. So you can just drink it like this. It'll have less calories and just be fantastic. But I like to add in a coconut almond yogurt, and you guys will be able to click the link in the description to find the little recipe on how to make that. That's amazing. It's a probiotic yogurt, and it really just helps everything move along in your system, and it just makes you feel good. I mean, when you put that in there, you might actually find you don't even need to drink coffee anymore if you're somebody who drinks it a lot. But the next part is just to add in about, I'd say, a quarter of a cup of that yogurt, and it's kind of up to you. You might like more of it, you might like less. Do whatever you want. And then berries wise, you want to add in blueberries and cherries are my favorite. Sometimes I add in this other blend that has strawberries too. I find that tastes really good. But for now, we're just going to stick with the basic blueberries and strawberries. Blueberries and cherries, sorry. You put in probably like a 1-to-2 ratio between the blueberries and cherries. So about half the cherries, you put blueberries. And I know that probably just made that sound a lot more complex. Basically, put in some blueberries, probably about, I don't know, quarter of a cup, just enough to kind of cover the surface, because the blueberries are mainly for a color aspect rather than the taste. And then the cherries, I normally dump in enough to fill up the rest of the blender to the point where it's practically overfilling out of the Vitamix. Again, because of the lid thing, you don't have to worry about it overheating, because the lid is literally like an extension to the blender. So it's amazing. It's actually perfect for me because it's retard proof. You can't overfill it, and I'm pretty retarded, so it's a good thing you can't. So add in the cherries till it's basically overfilling though. Pop the lid back on, blend that up. Normally I blend it up for a while because, for one, I don't like the smoothie to be chunky at all. I really like it to be a nice thin smoothie-like consistency, and I also like to have I don't like it super cold, and when the Vitamix is going, it actually will slightly warm the stuff just because it's spinning so fast. It actually does warm the stuff slightly. Now the smoothie is still going to be cold, obviously, unless you leave it in there for like 10 minutes blending, which would be absolutely ridiculous. You're probably only going to blend it up for, I would say, about a minute at the most, if you want that really smooth consistency. And another little trick with the Vitamix, if you use that, there's like this big piece that goes into the top of the lid where you kind of pack down stuff. If you use that piece and you actually bend it to the side and press up against the side of the blender, it'll actually make the swirl of everything kind of get sucked down, so all that stuff that's kind of at the top will go down and get blended up. That way you don't get like that chunky surface on the top. That's just kind of a little trick with the Vitamix for you guys to use. Anyway, that's most of how you make the smoothie. I also wanted to let you guys know that I do take supplements with this, because you can drink this smoothie and be completely sustained on it and live on it. I mean, you could just not eat solid food. In fact, I'm fasting right now and I feel really great. I just actually did more reps on one of my workouts than I ever did before, and I was actually pretty hyped. So it's not like you're gonna people think you need food a lot more than you really do, and in this case it's just basically the nutrients of the food that you're getting in a smoothie, and it just helps everything move along so well, and your body really doesn't even have to try to process it because it's already blended up. So the supplements though, I take a multivitamin, and I take B12 and D3s. And the reason I take these, B12 specifically, are the only ones that you really have to take. If you're a vegan, you don't really get B12 unless you eat something like nutritional yeast or something that intentionally has B12 added into it. It's just not something that you find in fruits and vegetables typically. And D3s, it's cloudy. It's cloudy now. It's always cloudy. I live in Washington, so there's not much sun, and vitamin D comes from the sun primarily, so it's really nice to just supplement it if you live in a cloudier state. And the multivitamin is literally just as a precaution, just to make sure that I'm still getting everything at least topped off, you know what I mean, as far as vitamins and minerals go. But you guys don't have to take any vitamins other than a B12 if you're a vegan, and even that, if you have something else that gets you B12, like nutritional yeast or something like that. I personally don't really like to eat nutritional yeast because it seems to flare up my eczema slightly, so it's kind of something I avoid. So I just supplement the B12 and call it good. You guys can do that too if you want. These smoothies, again, I only drink half of it, and I still feel fantastic with the supplementing I do. So if you're drinking the whole thing, you could probably just skip out on the multivitamin, take your B12s, and just call it good. I mean, you'll have so much time. I mean, it's so great just to really not even feel like you have to worry about making food. I mean, for me, when I eat, I normally take a while. I like to enjoy it, so it takes me forever. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Enjoy the smoothie. It tastes great. It'll have this nice purple color too. That's why the blueberries are important. If you had the strawberries, it makes it look kind of strange, but it still tastes fantastic. But that's all preference. The berries are mostly a taste thing, so you can just mess around with different berries if you want. The first parts, with the kale and spinach especially, are where the core nutrients are at, even though berries have plenty of them too. That's just where you're getting most of them. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Please like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff helps out so much, especially the likes. YouTube just has their system set up, so likes are like one of the most important things. So, please do. It doesn't take long. Also, you can find that yogurt recipe in the description. That's also a super awesome yogurt. It's pretty good tasting. Not the best tasting thing ever, but it's really amazing for you. Anyway, guys, have a fantastic day, and much love to you.